All right, folks, welcome. We've got a 1v1 game, mid 700s in terms of our rankings. And the focus here is gold. There's a lot of gold towards the middle here. The map is called Gold Rush. And on Gold Rush, you have 7 tiles of gold near your base. The rest of the gold is towards the middle. And the blue, we've got Kleber Romero, who is playing as Lithuanians here. And then in the, did I say red or did I say blue? I swear I might have said red. Anyways, this guy's blue. I apologize. Then in the red, we have Hard Knocks 11125. And Hard Knocks is playing as the Goths, which maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I'd go on this long conversation about how they're really good in later stages of the game. They could beat basically any civilization in later stages of the game, but they lack an eco bonus. These days, they received an eco bonus. Goths were buffed, guys, and I was a little shocked that the devs chose to do that. I think competitively, they do feel in a better spot at the higher ranks. I haven't really seen many Goth games since the buff, so I don't really know if they're dominating more and if that eco has really helped them. But their hunt lasting longer from like their boars and their deer would be a helpful bonus here. Again, the same deal, though. You've got 3 tiles of gold, 4 tiles of gold. That is it for red. And then the rest is going to be towards the middle. Now, I'm a big Gold Rush fan. I'm not a big fan of the version of Gold Rush that the devs have been using in ranked. The reason I don't like it is because you can't TC anywhere but in the middle hill. And so very rarely you're going to have both players be able to TC there because it's so close together. I prefer versions where you could have a town center here, for example, and a town center here. You're still exposed. You're at the bottom of the hill. You're in the middle, but you can like kind of lock it down. The fact you can't lock it down means this is so much more snowbally than the majority of tournament version of Gold Rush is. So priority in mid-castle, at the very least, is control the middle. But you do have to be careful. There's either wolves, lions, or in this case, snow leopards that are out in the middle. Don't ask me why snow leopards are here, because it looks like a hot, sunny day. But this is Age of Empires. It's, built on history, built on some level of realism, but at the end of the day, is pretty unrealistic, so... Okay, so I'm trying to get into my mid-700 rankings thought process. I think at this point we could either have a decent enough scout rush that'll have some flaws throughout the whole thing, or a semi-decent flawed fast castle from Lithuanians. That's my guess. As for Hard Knocks and as for the Goths, I would assume maybe lots of infantry, right? And I wouldn't assume a fast castle here. I'm thinking this guy might really click a lot of spears and a lot of man-at-arms here. Scouting is pretty decent for them. Blue's currently scouting the south of the map. Not sure about that. But Scout's on the move, so I like that. And Red Scout also scouting the back of his map right now. But I like how Red has built up his base here. I think he's going to wall this way. Gold Rush is typically fairly easy to wall, so you can keep yourself safe for the long term. There's snow on the ground. Yeah, but they're not in the snow. They're on the high ground where it's hot, man. There's no shade. Except for underneath the bird. I guess there are little patches of snow. I don't know enough about snow leopards to know if they would actually be in this environment. There might be one snow leopard expert who could, correct me on that. But I'm literally, as if I need to state this, not too much else to talk about except for the big walls here from Red. So, yeah. I have always liked to see the wolves in the middle because then I can say woo, woo, woo. I don't know what snow leopards sound like when they attack. But if they do attack, I will still substitute that with a woo, woo, woo. These are actually wolves, but it's Halloween. And they are dressed as snow leopards. That's what it is. Okay, so Red is located in the middle. Now, super low-ranked players are going to see the gold, and they're going to be all over it right now. I've seen so many players send villagers to the middle and then lose those villagers to snow leopards. Or wolves. Or wolves dressed as snow leopards. We're not seeing that, though, from Red. It seems like Red knows, all right, wall up. We'll eventually build up an army to control that area. And Blue, still with more villagers in queue, so I'm thinking this would be more of a fast castle approach. Again, we speculated on how things would look. When you rewatch this, Blue, I don't want you to be offended, but I think that my classification of earlier was pretty solid guess. Could be a solid fast castle, but not the most efficient thing ever. And okay, actually, I take it back. He clicks up to Feudal. So it will not really be a textbook Vast Castle or a textbook Scout Rush, but he'll be in Feudal Age soon. Make snow leopard sounds for the sound mod? No. Try not to give the sound mod guy any more ammo, man. But it's kind of hard to avoid doing that. Okay, I like how Red's playing this. The board timing's quite nice. Look at that. That's pretty close. He's walling up with just one vill. He's not going crazy with the walls or crazy with anything. The board's underneath the TC. Blue, hoping to have Castle Age resources possibly. Didn't go to gold. Is going to make a barracks now. But notice the building placement for Red, right? Need a new house at this stage? All right, make it as part of the wall. The early houses, make it as part of the wall. Again, I think the base build-up from Red is much better. This barracks, for example, could be here. Block off part of the map a little bit. Yeah, Blue only having 7 seconds of TC idle time is impressive, though. Let's see how things go. Because this is where you're so close to reaching Castle Age at a good time, but oh so far. But he says, okay, screw it. Wood upgrade, farm upgrade. We're going to have a lot of farms churning here soon. And Red might be scared of that. Red might be like, whoa, he's up already? What's happening here? This is a fast castle, though, from Red. And as fast as that Feudal Age is, I really like the build-up. I think a small thing I'd like to see Red do here is take this hunt. The way he's positioned his walls makes me think he wants to take that. Otherwise, I'm not sure why you would wall so forward. It's right next to your mill as well, so you should be able to take those deer, and those deer are going to help you get up. Will eventually be fully walled. Blue hasn't scouted much beyond his own base right now. But, oh, he made some spears here. And he could maybe chase down the enemy scout. His scout is faster, being a Feudal Age scout. Would kill that scout. But spearmen for Lithuanians are speedy as well, I suppose. And he doesn't seem too concerned to know what the enemy's up to right now. So a little bit of walling, a little bit of spear production. Red's going to run away. And Blue has seen some of the gold in the middle. If he sends the spearmen in there, the snow leopards will attack. Get it! You keep whacking each other here. Red's going to lure him into the middle. Red's like, I think I saw animals there, so let's bring the enemy towards the snow leopards. That'll teach him a lesson. I don't know if Red is doing this intentionally. I think he's just trying to scout the map. But, oh man, the spearman lost sight. Hello, spectator, says Red. 11? Well, hello. This is awkward. I've had many people say that they've seen spectators on their games over the years, and they've been worried that it's me. This is one of the rare times where someone acknowledges the spectator, and it is me. Well, Red, if you eventually find this, your build order is really good. Just don't get your wooden farm upgrade until you click up the castle here. If he didn't get these upgrades, he would have enough wood for his next building. I guess it's not that big a deal, though. Like, Red's, honestly, his build is so much cleaner than Blue's. I'm really liking it. It's going to go archer range with the Goths, though. That's the shocker. Now, Blue's scout is going to be trapped within Red's walls. Almost like this was planned. And Red does not garrison there to shoot the scout. Never mind. Yes, he does. And Blue scout... What is this, auto scout right now? I don't know. Blue seems to have noticed he's in here. That's weak now. And Red could just bring a scout home, maybe. Make some units, go kill that. On the bright side for Blue, though, he does get to see what the enemy's got in here. That's never a bad thing. And Blue at home has one villager on gold, one villager on stone. Has tons of food right now, but again, doesn't have the balance for Castle Age. Red's fast castle is pretty solid here. You could tell that he probably does this every time. We'll see what the plan is. Blue did not respond to the spectator comment. So I don't know if Blue saw the message or what the deal is there. Is red looking for this? I think red's looking to see... Whoops. I think red is looking to see if there's a hole here. So again, experience with walling, experience with the fast castle, or so it seems. But dude, you got to kill that scout. Kill that scout and then move out. That's my motto. Oh, the scout outmaneuvers. Wouldn't it be funny if it can leave now because red opens the gate? Nope. All right. Well, remember, blue had an opportunity. He was faster to feudal and he saw red scout. He didn't chase it down. That's something that blue can learn from. And also, rewatch this game, blue, and look at the build-up that red went for. This is very clean. Red could go for an instant boom and drop town centers and everything. But he is going to make a second archer range, despite not making any archers yet, so I'm a little confused on that point. It doesn't look like we're going to have any heavy moves towards the middle. Blue Spearmen, by the way, were just brought home. That's an 18-minute castle age at 700 elo. Dang, 700 elo's good these days. Holy crap, man, and there goes blue. Now, the positive here for blue is that all these farms were placed with horse collar, so he's going to have lots of food income. Negative for blue is I'm not really sure what the army's going to be. And I'm not sure if he knows what his opponent's going to do. Now, you should be able to, because of that scouting, see this archer range and know your opponent's going archers. If you have a range, you could make skirmishers. I don't know if blue thought about that, though. Red is going to check out the stream and hear the pointers. OMG, a super funny community game would be both players hear the casting and change plans according to what T90 says, and stream sniping is allowed. That's probably too complex. That's probably too complex. Because what? So then I have to like make up fake situations like, oh my god, green's going to lose his king. He should move it. And then green moves his king and there's nothing near it. Sounds a little complex. Okay, so crossbowman. Not really moving out much from red, but maybe he doesn't feel like he can do so comfortably right now. And red drops a second town center to expand the economy here. Not a big fan of the TC location. Would have preferred it up against the wood line. But I think it's hard for him to do it because of some of the elevation. Like this could have made it awkward. This could have made it awkward. I still think you could fit a TC here or here. Anyways, it's going to be 3 TC booms. So lots of ills for red. Blue is just making spears. I'm guessing that blue is experienced enough to know that a lot of players go for scouts and knights here, so. But dang, okay, blue upgrade city here, and he's going to go for man-at-arms. Sheesh, okay. Maybe worried that the Goths are going to go for some Huskarls. Of course, is completely blind now. Lost his scout. He clearly wants a castle here, right? Here he goes. It looks like blue will have the worst economy, but blue will have the position. This is what I love about Gold Rush. And there goes red, just waltzing into blue's base. What's he doing? Did he tell his friend to spectate? I hate it when that happens. What's he doing? Who would be spectating me? This is a dead game. Nobody watches or plays this game except me. And my opponent, of course. This is 2023. Nobody likes this freaking game. Look how old the graphics look. Hey, red, good scouting. I like it. And I like the eco. Red does not know there's a castle going up in the middle. He is, however, running to the middle. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Does he have a buddy spectating him? Or is he just getting extremely lucky here? He's going right towards it. Oh. Okay, not watching the stream confirmed, guys. If there was any worry there, any thought that maybe he was like, I wonder if it's T90 and pulled up a stream or something. Nope. But oh god, this castle could still be denied. Blue with the micro! The slight micro! 97, 98. Red clicked a punch. He screwed it up. And now the castle's up and now these crossbows are going to get shot. Oh, the pain. The horror. And red says, well played. He's like, I have a spectator now. I need to have very good manners. Just in case. It's my mom. But I appreciate Red giving him the well played. Maybe Red would give him the well played if I'm watching or not. I don't know. Anyways, that castle is extremely important here for blue because now blue can make Latis, which is a very good unit with the Lithuanians. But what red has is he's got 3 town center economy. So he's got 10 more vills, and it's going to continue to grow. But he has to be creative and somehow find a way to take that castle out, which is not going to be easy. So for the time being, you obviously have no use for your crossbowman in the middle. Last I checked, red had located his opponent's woodline. So I think red is just going to head to the woodline now. Blue is... he's really exposed at home. And he hasn't made any latest. Maybe he prefers knights, and he's going to add the stable for that. But should recognize the middle is pretty much protected, and he needs to keep a close eye on things at home. Not even a second town center yet for blue. It's just the difference in the approach here. A red scout has gone through here many, many times. I really like how red plays the game, man. Red, fundamentally, is the better player, in my opinion. His build-up with his economy, into army, and everything is a lot more textbook than blue's. The fast castle and everything. The crossbowmen are going to show up. And, you know, blue... he's getting town watch so he can get a bit more vision, which is never a bad thing, but he's going to lose a vill there. And he's going to lose another vill. So that's 4 vills in total he's lost this game. He's going to bring the men-at-arms home. I don't know where the latest went. Okay, the latest is off in the darkness. Panic time for blue. Okay, he's going to make some skirms now. Now remember, blue's going to feel pretty foolish watching this because you knew your opponent had crossbowmen. You knew about it. You saw them. But I think he played the classic, well, let's hope my opponent doesn't do the right thing strategy. And now your opponent's doing the right thing, and now you're going to have some problems. And you don't have knight upgrades in defense. You don't have the time to mass. And red is just so far ahead economically now. Such a great raid. I mean, blue feels dead. Blue feels very dead here. All avoidable things, right? All avoidable things based on what blue saw. But maybe he's just not used to players taking advantage of it. I think red's played very good. Red's getting masonry now. That's such an interesting tech. As he's going to drop a castle at home. But those crossbowmen more than paid for themselves. But, you know, here's the thing. If blue can clear this, he's going to pop out with the skirms now. The skirms have no upgrades, so the crossbows just melt them instantly. And then the knight's going to die next as well. So it's just bad. But if, right, if this gets cleared, blue could maybe get a second castle up in the middle. And I'm not sure if red will know how to deal with that. Again, we're talking big if. I feel really bad casting situations like this because it's so obvious for us what was going to happen, but blue had no clue. But it's just like it's a basic lesson to learn. I think blue's looking at this right now like, what should I have done differently? But it, you know, your opponent makes crossbowmen, you have the archer range, make skirmishers. Remember earlier in the game as well, he had his scout in there and he saw the archer range. Acting on what you see within a game is very important. But a lot of players at low elo and even mid elo are at a point where they're like, I'm doing this strat. This is my strat. I'm not going to deviate from my strat. I'm just doing this strat, and I hope my strat works. Getting to a point where you could react a little bit or be proactive with scouting or whatever else is really nice. But yeah, like, I mean, red hasn't had the perfect boom here because he's been focusing a lot on the micro. But red has played this very well, deserves a lot of credit for it. And finally, this is going to get dealt with. Come on, Monk, you can do it. Finally, bam. Okay. So, blue has enough stone for another castle. Red could click up to the Imperial Age here, possibly. That was a lot of damage. That was really bad. If you have a better economy, when you're in the Imperial Age, you could just build up army and then protect trebuchets. But Hard Knocks is like, you know what? Actually, I want Huskarls. So he clicks Anarchy, which allows him to produce barracks from his barracks. Wow, that'd be awesome. Barracks from his Huskarls. Huskarls from his barracks. We'll see. T90, will he be casting any mid-elo games today? Maybe. I have no clue. We're going with the flow. I don't have plans. I'm like blue in this game. I may see something and react to it. I may not. Sorry if that's coming off a little mean. It was just a very easy joke for me to make. Just want to have a good time, going with the flow. Wherever the game takes me, I shall go. I think blue is very fixated on the relics, too. I see a lot of players with Lithuanians just want those relics so freaking bad, they forget about the basics of the game. Blue is imping, though, guys. There is a chance. He's got most of the gold controlled with a castle in the middle. His economy's garbage. But, you know, maybe he can recover there. Maybe he could go 2 castles in the middle. Maybe he could go a castle here to protect this area in case Red wants to attack there again. Red isn't on the way to imp. Red stopped producing vills quite a few times here out of the TCs, which is something that we just assumed he would do when he built them. He did a good job producing for the most part, though. Isn't this a classic mistake? You make a second TC, but you don't queue up vills there. You queue up vills in the original one. But they can't produce because you're on the way to imp there. Such a classic. I wanted to see blue commit to something, and finally he's committing to Latus. Latus can be really good against Goths. They're just costly. And the beauty of the Goths is that your units are cheap. So you can have a worse KD, but you could still win the game because you could just spam so many units. I would have loved it. Like, I feel like there's a world where blue could have recovered here. Another town center. But blue has had a very middle focus. And red has had a very eco and then middle focus, which is, I think, like a lot of high-level players would have that outlook on this as well. Okay, blue's Latus staring at the gold. Red cannot take any gold in the middle right now. This will be an interesting moment, though. The monk is on the way to get the relic. I imagine red doesn't know the Latus is there. Nope, now he does. And he's like, don't mind if I do. I'm just going to yoink that relic back to my base. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. Okay, crop rotation and 2-man saw for blue. So he makes it to the next stage. Instantly gets the wooden farm eco upgrades. Crop rotation. A lot of people feel like it doesn't pay off. But I think if you have the resources, just get it. That's fine. Would love to see a bit of scouting from blue. See what the opponent has. This could be a time to make some trebs, right? He's making a treb, though. Got 2 relics. Is 1 attack upgrade. So he's got 13 plus 3 attack. Latus getting plus 2 attack from the relics. He won't get any more relics from that. He's starting to wall up at home. Just waiting for the big flood from the Goths. The big spam. But I don't think Huskarls is it. Huskarl is a unit that's good against archers. We haven't seen any archers. I mean, honestly, red could just run right to blue's base with anything. And blue's exposed. Blue's super tunnel visioned. But this is where mistakes could happen for red. Blue sees that. And blue is going to use the treb on that castle. I think he was going to. Okay. Now, is he going to double down on this area and drop another castle next to it? It's getting armor. Red has 3 pikemen. That's it. It's like he's waiting. He does no gold income right now beyond the 2 relics, or 3 relics, rather. He could take this gold, of course, but he's taken 4 out of his 7 tiles of gold. He could be completely out of gold here in a second. So blue's waiting next to the trap. He knows something could happen. We've got perfusion coming in now for hard knocks, which means your units produce way faster out of your barracks, which is way more important here than any other technology you could get as the Goths. It's going to be completed in the back castle. The castle on the front's being repaired. That's giving him time to mass more units. And we've got a nice little mix here from blue, who's also taking the time to just wall up, make some houses at home. I like it from blue. Like, pikeman isn't very useful here, but he doesn't necessarily know that, and he's in a situation where he just needs a big ball of units. Here are the Huskarls. I mean, he should wreck the Huskarls with Latus. Latus, Castlefire, Monks, like, it should be really good against the Huskarls, but Castle's going to stay up for red. That's the most important thing for him. But in the end, I mean, red might be worried about that. I think he just wanted time, but red loses his entire army to take out 1 trap, and blue's going to make another. Guys, blue has closed the distance with the Vil count. What a great job. Romero. I thought you were super dead earlier. Look at him. We got Pikes from Hard Knocks. He cannot afford the Halb upgrade, but dude, he went from 3 pikemen to 31 pikemen just like that. Just perfusion things. So good, but he has no way to push the castle from blue. Like, I think if blue had another castle here, and then the Trebs were in between it, it'd be so much more difficult for red. Definitely a position where you may want to consider using the market if you're red. Blue, choosing to show just 1 Treb here. Not wait for more, but he is massing a second. Latest are the most important unit for him, though. And he's like, okay, this happened before. It's going to happen again. And red immediately reacts by sending in the pikes. Oh my god, the split micro. Did you see that? Okay, split micro. Such a beast. Well, okay, he takes the fight up the hill. This is still a fine fight for red, in my opinion, because of the fact that Castle Fire isn't hitting him. But this is the over micro that we so often see from low elo. I think he moved his units too much there. He just needed to fight, guys. He was too busy pressing the split hotkey. It didn't end up taking out the Treb. That is a big difference between the Pikes and the Huskarls we saw earlier. It's only 7 latest for blue, but it feels like he will take out red's castle. Red, however, does have Halb now, which they do so much more bonus damage than Pikes do. I still think advantage red, but again, he's soon going to run out of gold. Okay, but here's the deal. When you take out that castle and you see these Halbs, you just back away. You don't fight anymore. You took out the castle. You did your job. Back away, blue. Back out of this one, buddy. He's like, I'm latest. I ignore armor. No, these are pointy boys, and they've got a lot of bonus damage. This is bad news, bears. Bad news, horses. Bad news, pikemen. Bad news, crossbow. Bad news, monk. Bad news, treb. Back up to that castle. Back it up. There you go. And the castle fire helps you a lot against these pointy boys. Wow, this game's been really good, guys. Red acknowledged that there's a spectator here. Blue didn't really seem to care. I don't know what spectator they could be talking about. It's not like I spectate people's games. We've got longsword upgrade coming in for blue. And the champion line is what is solid against Halbs. So he's chosen the right unit line as opposed to going for more horsemen. I don't think Lithuanians have very good champion line, though. Chat will have to tell me. I kind of forget. I might not even get champion, to be honest. Anyways, Trebs were kind of forgotten about. This Treb's like, no, don't forget about me. Let me unpack one last time before I die. Okay, well, if you looked hard enough there, he did unpack. A limited gold income for red. No siege right now to push down the castles. And we have elite Latus. Okay, so he wants to go swordsman and Latus. I mean, a mix is still really good. I'd love to see a defensive castle from blue here. Or alternatively, I'd like to see red raid the main economy from blue. It's Gold Rush and your opponent's in the middle right now? Oh, that's great. Well, head to their base and imagine how much they're going to freak out then. One of my best tips is, like, sometimes going... If your opponent's in a position that isn't good for you, go to their base and just make it messy. See what happens. Okay, so you do not get the final armor, but they do get champions. Gotcha. But I mean, right now, he's the only on longsword. So being on longsword is just not good. And I'm seeing these numbers here from red, and it's pretty ridiculous. Blue is the right idea, and he's trying to build up certain massive units. So it's still very doable here. Maybe adding scorpions with Latus could do the trick. No, I don't like scorpions. I think hand cannons is your best play, but he would have needed to get chemistry for that. He is making a university here. Okay. Blue's probably terrified right now because he doesn't have any vision that we do. And he's probably lost to the Goths once or twice in his career. Red, again, his population was so low on army, and then he just queues up units and look at his army count now. His army count's ridiculous. He produced faster, and it's way cheaper with the Goths. This is like, maybe not the best game to prove my point, but I was saying, I don't know if we want to give Goths any boost to get into late game, because Goths are just ridiculous if they get there. And at low elo, Goths have already had a really big win rate. And here comes Red. And he's in. Good luck, long swords. Those swords are not long enough. Huskarls aren't even elite. Final attack isn't even in on these things. But look at how fast this castle melts. Goths also have a bonus where they do more damage versus buildings as the ages progress. So they're really good against buildings with their infantry. And I think Blue's just going to be looking at this stun. Like, I've had the middle. We were supposed to rush for the gold. That's what I did. What could I have possibly done differently here? Well, the answer is a lot. As always, the same for Red as well, if Red ends up winning this. But Red had really nice economy this game, and then did significant damage to Blue. Like, losing the 25 villagers you've lost in this game, Blue, is the reason why you lost this game, not really the other things. Red knew economy mattered, knew it was possible to wall up. Maybe Red's the one who picks Gold Rush. It looked like he was a bit more comfortable here, and he just waltzes to the middle. Just when the gold is running out. Look at how satisfying this is. He's just about to finish this, guys. Watch. I'm not kidding. Finish with that one. Bam. Finish with that one. And then he's going to be on the gold in the middle. Like, this whole situation was scripted. I thought Blue was dead once he lost the villagers to the crossbows. Then once he took the good fights in early Imp, took out the castle, and was only behind by 12 or so vills, I thought he could do it. But the game ends there, and that is the hard knocks of Age of Empires 2 and dealing with the Goths there. Red definitely knew what he was doing. I think Blue had, like, in terms of things to teach here, right? Blue had his scout in his opponent's base. He saw the archer range. He had an archer range. He never made a unit. Then, I mean, the worst one is this. The one where he's really going to be embarrassed, and I think you learn a lot from, is here. He lost the Vill building this castle. He saw the crossbowmen. And, well, no skirms, no knights, no real army, no siege. I think he just was like, oh, we fight for the middle on this map. I think he honestly forgot that it's possible for the opponent to go to your base. I think it's just, he thought it's a King of the Hill game where you have to control the middle. So good job from Red to utilize the different areas of the map, hit the opponent's base, and eventually patiently move his way out towards the middle. Again, the economy was just so much better from Red, and I could tell by his build-up. Sorry if it was a little awkward, Red, with the spectator there, but you did play very well under the pressure. Wood, food, gold, stone, all higher there for the Goth player. And Blue is going to be... I think he's going to be... You know, no one wants to be... So like, a lot of people are like, oh my god, I want to be in Lowy the Legends. And then sometimes people find out they were in Lowy the Legends, and then they were on the losing side. And no one wants to be on the losing side. However, if you want to get a little bit better at the game, if you want to learn some things, if you want to tweak a couple things with your gameplay, Blue, this is the game for you to see, dude. You had the castle control. You could have done a lot more with it, and it's just a couple tweaks. It's nothing, like, nothing happened in this game that says, wow, you just don't have a chance at getting better. It's just a small reaction, right? Just a couple small adaptations. I just think of this elo, very frequently, both players say, this is my strat separately, and those strats clash. There's not a lot of adaptation to it. There's not a lot of playing off of scouting. That typically comes a little bit later. So yeah, good stuff. Free coaching? Yeah, it's free coaching. I mean, even if I'm not casting your game, Lowy the Legends is designed to be entertaining, but also informative. I think people who don't want any information and don't want to learn it all with Lowy the Legends simply watch, because anything can happen, and a lot of crazy things can happen at this rank. Anyways, good game. I enjoyed watching it. According to this, Blue's the faster player. But Red was just smooth, calm, confident, and consistent with everything. I really like Hard Knocks. Now, the colors are swapped here. Don't be confused by that. But, so the opponent just resigned. He just quit, right? Didn't say anything. No GG. Look at Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks says, oh, it was just getting good. GG, well played! Exclamation, exclamation. More army and Treb pushes early, and you would have had me. Look at that mindset. We need more people like Hard Knocks. Even says that to someone who doesn't even drop the GG. I like the positivity there, Hard Knocks.